Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be talking about Ethan Klein and Andrew Tate. Now, I understand everybody knows of Andrew Tate, of him being banned from pretty much every social media outlet, which is honestly not too terribly surprising for me. That was eventually going to happen. He was becoming a bit too mainstream. Although I'm not quite sure exactly the whole thing behind Andrew Tate. I don't follow him. I don't look at his stuff. But he has some accusations around him which are not either proven false or true. So we'll have to see exactly on how that is when if that ever is released. But I mean, again, they're accusations, right? So we don't know. So that being said, he's an interesting fellow. However, we do have Ethan Klein, which I personally think is a piece of garbage human being. He came from being a okay guy to a decent, a decent guy to a real far left socialist piece of garbage, and he's really just a terrible person at this point. I don't like him. I think he's a dick, and I would even say I probably dislike him as much, if not maybe more, than I would say, what's that guy's name? The guy with a hat and he's an idiot. Oh God. He does news. I'll remember his name. He's a gnome. We'll just call him a gnome. Anywho, there's a lot of stuff going on with these two apparently, and we didn't know until very recently, which we'll come out to find in this article. Ethan Klein reveals Andrew Tate sent him a cease and desist letter. Ethan Klein has announced online that Andrew Tate reportedly sent him a cease and desist letter and has requested Ethan Klein to stop talking about him during his content. With Andrew Tate now banned from all social media, many other content creators and influencers have been discussing the situation as well as voicing their thoughts and opinions on Tate and some of the controversial things he has said in the past. One of the most outspoken voices in this mix has been YouTuber and content creator Ethan Klein. Following a recent podcast, it appears Tate has tried to stop any further coverage about him being spread on H3. On Twitter, Ethan Klein addressed a tweet to the free speech champions that defended Andrew Tate. He then went on in the tweet to reveal that he just got a cease and desist letter from Andrew Tate. He demands I stop talking about him. Ethan Klein then asked for people's thoughts on this move from Tate. So that's what he says. Defamation is a completely different ballgame, Ethan, especially when his voice is completely stripped to the point of not being able to defend himself. Time to see if there was any merit into what you were saying about him. Yeah, and I agree. Ethan Klein is again a far leftist and does not care about freedom of speech. Although, of course, when things come against him, obviously he's going to be freedom of speech. So again, there's a difference between actually saying things and what is true and what is not true, aka defamation, and being able to say whatever you want to say. So again, people defend Andrew Tate because there's some things that we don't know is true or false, right? So that's probably the reason why some people would defend him. Otherwise, some other them would just defend him regardless of those accusations or what have you. But again, that is freedom of speech, and you're allowed to say what you want, when you want, whenever you want, and that doesn't matter. Of course, there's a gray line area of I would say slightly of between defamation, actively wanting to kill somebody, etc., etc. So there's legal references and stuff like that would go along with it, which I think Nick Rekieta, in terms of the legal aspect, would be more inclined to impart you on that type of stuff, because I'm not super great or at all close to a lawyer like Nick would be. So therefore, I would just do stuff like that for him. That would direct you to Nick Rekieta in that aspect. Fans of Tate are defending the move, calling out Klein and others who have been talking about the influencer as breaching defamation laws and rules, given that he is unable to defend himself online anymore. Some are defending Klein and highlighting that almost every influencer has been speaking out about Andrew Tate. Others are even questioning if Klein did in fact receive a letter, and that he might have simply made this way up as to further fuel hatred towards Tate. However, Klein was quick to put those theories to bed. To follow up on his earlier tweet, Klein posted a quick Instagram video showing the email he received about the cease and desist in question. In the Instagram video, he explains he received an email today from Andrew's attorney. The email is then shown in the background of the video, with Klein confirming that it is asking him to cease and desist talking about him. He then calls out Tate for a separate tweet, questioning, "What is about my free speech, Andrew?" Klein, who is clearly unfazed by his development in the video, implies that he will not stop talking about Tate, who then describes as a womanizer, misogynist loser of a man. Which could be, but again, you're going off of something that is specifically what some talking points he talks about with women. Now, not every talking point he says is really a good one, I would say. Kind of stupid. But again, this is not freedom of speech. Defamation is not freedom of speech, which of course we know Ethan Klein is not intelligent enough to really figure that out because he's too much of a fucking moron to really realize it. But again, you're not allowed to just defame people and call lies about people and do that. That's not okay. So that is not protected under the freedom of speech. That is not protected under the First Amendment. Granted, defamation lawsuits are very, very, very hard to win, from what I've been hearing from people. So if that may be the case, then I don't think that you would have to realize the amount of kind of backflips issues that we'll be facing. Of course, we can go directly into the Ethan Klein debacle here and see exactly what's going on, how many people are against him. No. We would love to get a cease and desist order from Poison from our cover song. We did mention Tate in our latest episode and berated him, so here's hoping. What is the consequence? A lawsuit? I spied my lunchbox to the face? What? A week ago, Tate talked about how he was taught that going to authority, crying, and hoping they would fix the problem for you wasn't how a man should conduct himself. Dear Freedom of Speech champions that defended Andrew Tate, tell me what you think about this. I just got a cease and desist letter from Andrew Tate. He demands I stop helping out. Thoughts? What is this? Why is he repeating this? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, well, we understand he's extremely unhealthy and fat as a fucking cucumber. Okay, we understand that. Just because he is a hypocrite does not go against our point that he shouldn't be banned for saying sexist things. Well, unless he's been convicted of these things in court of law, then yeah, he's a reservation. So yeah. So he goes to say, so brave to the sex trafficking, violent, misogynist, rapists on, etc. Exactly. So that. Yeah, again. So again, people going to prove to rape or sex trafficking. Excuse my ignorance, but I've only heard of this guy once or twice without really driving too much. Is there really a valid evidence he has done anything of these things? Yeah. So exactly. So Ethan Klein, you're an idiot, but this right here would be considered defamation, right? This could be considered defamation. Now, whether it went in the court or not, I don't know. But trying to say that somebody is something that is not really who they are is really what we call defamation. And again, Tucker Carlson is trying to get both sides of the story, which normally you do that as a reporter, right? You want to talk to both sides, get both to understand why, and see why it was on. Again, we don't know whether he is a sex trafficking, violent, misogynist, etc., etc. We have no idea if he is or not. These are accusations. Accusations does not mean that somebody have actively done this, right? So it's the same thing as somebody claiming somebody is a rapist, and all of a sudden. And it turns out to be not true. I mean, again, this is completely different to the mere fact that that it's true or not. So if it's not true and you call somebody this, that is attack on someone's character. That is attack on somebody's actual ability to function, because it's a defamation. It's literally what that is. So we don't know. It's an accusation. When people make accusations, you have to wait until it goes into court or what have you until it is proven wrong. We don't know if he is or not. And I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate. I don't know who he is. I know very much who he is. He just came out into the circle randomly and all that. And I don't agree him being deplatformed at all. I don't want anybody to be deplatformed for really anything unless, again, you are committing a crime of some sort or you are trying to have relations with children and whatnot. Okay, then that might be a different story altogether, to where if they're actively doing these things, you might want to reconsider having these people on your platform. However, in most instances, I don't care. Say what you want, be allowed to say what you want, be allowed to do what you want under obviously circumstances, and not be feared of being deplatformed or removed, because that is a violation of freedom of speech. And you, Ethan Klein, are advocating are trying to advocate a completely different type of thing of freedom of speech. And it's disgusting that you would do this. Obviously, I'm not too terribly surprised because Ethan Klein is a piece of garbage, but I digress. What else do we expect from a man that is a very far leftist and honestly well, a garbage human being. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.